Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan, Sampurasun, and good morning. My name is Sinta Ridwan. I am a writer, researcher, documentary filmmaker. I'm working as a researcher at Anantarupa Studios, currently developing Lokapala MOBA, multiplayer online battle arena. I'm also a researcher and a writer on the web, ceritarempahbarus.org. I'm currently creating a web-based interactive map containing a collection of characters in manuscript and inscription in the archipelago under the name Aksakun. I graduate from the master program in philology at Pajajaran University. I'm working on a thesis in the archaeology master program with a specialization in history at University of Indonesia with the title The Influence of Political Economy on the Dynamic of Scripts in Inscription in West Java, 5th to 16th century after decade. This is a paleographic studies with Professor Agus Aris Munandar. I often try to renarrate the manuscript into new vehicles. The result of the research on the Buruk Basuh manuscript were produced in the form of a documentary puzzle with entitled Melarung Banyu Kidungan 2019. The result of research about traditional medicine manuscript were made in the form of an art video entitled Live Practice and Memory 2020, and the result of literacy research in Western Java were made in the form of the video fragment of Cerita Aksara 2020. I have also dabbled in writing literary books. Okay, this morning, I want to present a topic with title Old Sundanese Script in Inscription and Manuscripts in the 1500s, Diplomacy of the Last Sunda Kingdom and the Portuguese. Old Sundanese script from the 1500s can be found in several areas in West Java on inscription or manuscripts. And the manuscripts relating to today's analyze is the Carita Parahyangan. It is currently located in Kawali, Ciamis, once the capital of Galuh Kingdom. Beside manuscripts, there are inscriptions approximate to be from the 1500s, which utilize the Old Sundanese script in Kawali, and a place called the Kabuyutan in Koleang, Jasinga, Bogor, produce manuscripts with a similar Old Sundanese writing style to the Carita Parahyangan. Okay, in this analysis, inscriptions will also be discussed, specifically the Batu Tulis inscription, currently located in Bogor, still in West Java. This inscription utilizes the Old Sundanese script with an Old Javanese type. And finally, there will be a discussion on a Latin inscription proving the collaboration and diplomacy between the Portuguese and the Sundanese kingdom. It was found in the area of North Jakarta, which was assumed to be located in the vicinity of the harbor in the 1500s. And Okay. The last years of the Sundanese kingdom in the 1500s, Surawi Sesa is mentioned. Surawi Sesa is mentioned in the manuscript of Carita Parahyangan, defending his territory from attacks by the kingdom of Demak and Cirebon, engaging in 15 battles across the western part of the north coast of Java throughout his 14 years reign of the Sundanese kingdom. The narrative mention locations such as Wahanten Girang, like Banten right now, Ancol Kiyi, and Kalapa or Sunda Kelapa. And prior the inheriting the throne due to the death of his father, Sri Baduga Maharaja, Surawi Sesa was sent on a diplomatic mission to Malacca to strengthen the ties with the Portuguese. In Hageman, Geschidenis der Sundelanden, yeah, he is referred to as Samyam and is mentioned to have discussed trade deals with the Albuquerque in 1512. And after a second visit in 1521, the Albuquerque expressed interest in the Sundanese kingdom's trade offer with the Portuguese and appointed his nephew, Henrik Lemay, to sign the diplomatic agreement. Lemay traveled to the capital to negotiate in 1522. And the bilateral agreement between the Sundanese kingdom and the Portuguese, its contents stated in an intention to create diplomatic ties between the two signatories. One of the terms stipulated that the Sundanese kingdom will receive aid in the battle against enemies. On the other hand, the strengthened trading between the signatories, the Portuguese were allowed to set up fortification and given the right to obtain paper. The Sundanese kingdom agreed to provide a sack of paper every year, counted from the year that the fort was constructed. And this agreement was written on 2 sheets of paper with the same copy inside, signed by Surawi Sesa and Henrik Lemay. Witnesses of the Sundanese include courtier, referred to in Portuguese as the Mandari Tadam, Tamongo Sang, Sangwe Depat, and Bengar Sabandar. According to Hageman, Portuguese witnesses include Fernando de Almeida, Franciscus Anes, Manuel Mendes, Joao Coutinho, Gil Barbosa, Tommy Pinto, Sebastian Dorrego, and Francisco Diaz. Okay. Before returning to Malacca, Lemay was escorted to the eastern edge of the Ciliwung estuary to survey the allotted location for the fort. This location was referred to as Kalapa, which would later become Sunda Kalapa. In this location, they erected a padrao before reporting back to the Albuquerque in Malacca. Regarding the trade agreement. As the person in charge of trade in the city, he expressed the need to have the King of Portugal consent to the agreement and penned a letter pertaining to its term. Dom João III Don João III agreed to the stipulated term and conditions, sending Francisco de Sá on Vasco da Gama, Vasco da Gama's armada to execute it. Da Gama's position as the representative of the king in India and his later death momentarily prevent the Shah from fulfilling the term of the deal. After completing his assignment in India, he continued on his way to Kalapa. When the Portuguese armada arrived in 1527, Kalapa was overrun by the Demak Kingdom's force led by Fatahillah. Their effort to reclaim Kalapa from the new invading force were to no avail, thus cancelling plans of the fort construction. Surawisesa ended up fighting the invasion by himself, as the Portuguese aid did not manage to arrive in time. And the Padrao is a stone carved to commemorate the agreement between the Portuguese and the Sunda Kingdom in 1522. And the Portuguese governor in Malacca, George d'Albuquerque, delegated Henry Clement to develop commercial relation with the Sunda Kingdom or Samyang. The agreement between the Portuguese and the Sunda Kingdom was signed on 21st August 1522. The agreement permit the Portuguese to found a trading office in the form of a fortress in Sunda Kalapa and to make a commemorative stone, Padrao in Portuguese. The Sunda Kingdom made this agreement for both the commercial link and to receive Portuguese support in facing the Islamic Empire of Demak. In the end, the agreement was not executed because in 1527, Fatahillah, Sultan of Demak, success in conquering Sunda Kelapa. And this is the Batu Tulis. The Batu Tulis inscription was made by Surawisesa, who became the Sundanese king for 14 years, 1521 until 1535 after decade. To remember his father's glory, Sri Baduga Maharaja or Prabu Siliwangi. And based on data analysis and reviewing the Sunda Kingdom agreement with the Portuguese, it can provide on an overview of the two parties implementing diplomatic relation in the economic political field in international trade cooperation. However, this cooperation was not realized because the Portuguese were occupied with several affairs in the eastern region. This resulted in the collapse of the Sunda Kingdom, the Kingdom of Sunda. The impact can also be seen afterwards. There was a shift in the written tradition of the Sundanese manuscripts with the emergence of the Cacarakan, Javanese, Latin, and Pagan characters. The characters used by new rules in the area of the last former Sundanese kingdom. So, this is the end of my presentation. I am Sinta Ridwan. Thank you for your time and your attention. Salam.